Sometimes life finds silent ways to call us to a place where we can finally hear what has always been trying to reach us. Maybe that is what is happening to you right now. Maybe that's why this video appeared at this exact moment without warning, without explanation, but with an almost indescribable feeling that there is something here you were meant to hear. You might try to understand it logically, you might try to find a rational reason, but there is something inside you, something you may have ignored for a long time. Me, that knows exactly why you're here. The truth is that you've carried too much weight alone. You've tried to be strong for everyone, even when no one had any idea what was happening inside you. And that silent effort, that strength no one sees, that exhaustion you tried to hide, all of it started to take a toll. But you kept going. You kept going because you felt you had to. You kept going because you learned to handle everything on your own. You kept going because the world around you didn't seem to have space for your pain. But there comes a moment in every human life when the universe finds a way to interrupt this cycle. Sometimes it's a conversation, sometimes it's an unexpected encounter. Sometimes it's a tiny sign you almost ignore. And sometimes it's something like this, appearing in front of you, catching your attention when you weren't looking. As if saying, hey, look at yourself. You need to breathe. And maybe you don't even remember the last time you truly breathed. Not that automatic breathing, but the one that comes from within. The one that brings back calmness, presence, clarity. Life has been so fast, so demanding, so heavy on you that simply existing began to feel like a duty, not an experience. You got used to surviving. But you forgot what it feels like to live, and that's why you're here. Because there is a point in your story that needs to be acknowledged. A point you pushed aside so many times that now it has returned, asking for attention. And it's not something bad, quite the opposite. It's a calling, an invitation, a chance to make peace with yourself. Pay attention. Some things you went through were not your fault. Some falls didn't happen because you failed, but because other people didn't know how to hold you when you needed it the most. Some pains didn't appear because you chose wrong, but because you didn't have any way of knowing things weren't what they seemed. You had no map, no warning. You only had your heart, and it always did the best it could with what it had. You're too hard on yourself. You demand more from yourself than anyone else ever did. You treat yourself with a level of harshness you don't deserve. And maybe no one has ever told you this clearly. Maybe no one ever stopped to look into your eyes and say, you did the best you could with what you had. And that was enough. But now you're hearing it. And I hope this time you truly listen, because life is not trying to punish you. It's not trying to tear you down. It's trying to transform you. And transformation hurts. It hurts because it requires you to let go of what wounds you, even when those things feel familiar. It hurts because it demands courage to release the old before knowing exactly what will come next. It hurts because it stirs things you believed were resolved, but weren't. But this pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to open a space. And in that space, something new is trying to emerge. You feel it, even when you try to ignore it, even when you try to be strong. Even when you try to pretend everything is fine. Deep down, you know something inside you is changing. And that change, as quiet as it may seem, has already begun. And maybe for a long time you believed you were alone in this. Maybe you felt that nobody truly understands how much you try, how much you push, how much you endure. But you're not alone, and you never were. There is something greater walking beside you, even when you don't notice. Something that gently pushed you toward this moment. Something that arranged the circumstances in your life, aligned events. shaped situations until you finally arrived here. And it wasn't by accident. You needed to hear that there is still a path for you, that there is still something beautiful waiting for you ahead, that what you lost is not the end, that life still holds things that will surprise you, and that the time you felt was wasted, painful, or delayed was actually preparing you for something only people like you, Peep, who felt deeply, who fell and got back up, who fought even while tired, are capable of living. Life does not get timing wrong. Sometimes it holds you back a little longer because it knows you are about to end. Counter something that requires a version of you that is stronger, more aware, more alive. And that is what is happening now. You are becoming the person capable of receiving what you once couldn't hold. And let me tell you something important. You did not waste time. You prepared. Every step, every silence, every heavy night, every doubt, every attempt, everything mattered. Everything brought you here. Nothing was wasted. Nothing. Now take a deep breath. Feel the air filling you. Feel your mind slow down. Feel the weight in your chest lighten, even if just a little. You don't need to fix your whole life today. You only need to take the next step. That's it. And that step begins with a simple but powerful decision, believing that something good is still coming your way, because it is. You deserve lightness. You deserve peace. You deserve days that don't pressure you, but welcome you. You deserve people who treat you with respect, not because they have to, but because they recognize your essence. You deserve to wake up without fear. You deserve to smile without guilt. You deserve to breathe without feeling like you owe the world something. And from this moment on, I want you to understand something. Life is moving in your favor. Things you cannot see are aligning. Doors that looked closed are preparing to open. What was stuck will start to flow. What was confusing will begin to make sense. You just need to keep going and trust, even if slowly. And when all of this begins to happen, and it will, you will remember this moment. You will remember this feeling. You will remember this calling. And you will realize that it was here that the change began. It was here that something inside you awakened. It was here that you allowed life to reach you again. Now I want you to do something simple. Comment I receive. It's not just a phrase. It's a commitment to yourself. It's you telling the universe, life, and your own heart, I'm ready. I accept what is good. I allow things to change. And if this touched you, leave a like, not for me, but as a sign to yourself that you are choosing to continue choosing to grow, choosing to open up to the new. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And from here on, everything begins to change.